Tim Burton has three... Tim Burton has three favorite things. He loves the color black, he loves spooky drawings, and he loves gingerbread. Everybody knows that.
Come on, Hansel, take a bite.
I'm not eating anymore. You're disgusting.
I love a holiday overlay at a theme park, truly. At no place is it done better than at Disneyland's Haunted Mansion Holiday. My favorite attraction with one of my favorite childhood movies blended together with two of my favorite holidays. There is just no way this attraction can lose. And what I love about it is its blend of honoring the original fun of the Haunted Mansion with at the same time adding in a bunch of new unique things, such as a brand new, massive, fully edible gingerbread house dropped in the ballroom scene every year, highly themed to the Haunted Mansion and Nightmare Before Christmas. I love them. Every year they get better and better, and this year, for the 20th anniversary of the gingerbread house, they've incorporated all 19 previous years into one mega gingerbread celebration. So let's take a look back at all of the gingerbreads starting in 2001, when the first year of the Haunted Mansion holiday overlay took place. Whoops. Sorry, I forgot to get in the Christmas spirit. Gotta get all these colors all set up right. 2001 brought us the Monster House and started the trend of honoring the Haunted Mansion architecture in the gingerbread design. It had two animated arms that would kind of wiggle back and forth, and the table was filled with some Oogie Boogie heads, some fun little pumpkin accents. They were just starting to get the idea of what this gingerbread monstrosity could possibly be. In 2002, we got the Present House, once again honoring the front of the Haunted Mansion, but turning it into a little bit of a stacked pyramid design of this, there's just presents everywhere. It's just the Presence House. Presents, presents, presents. This thing was massive, over 13 feet tall. 2003, we started to experiment with the idea of a character being integrated into the gingerbread house. And while this is technically probably the only gingerbread house that featured just one main character, it let us sort of open up the doorway to play around with some of the Haunted Mansion theming and the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. 2004 brought us Zero's Mausoleum doghouse in gingerbread form, which was really cool. Look at those giant bones. I love the icing roof. Hey, I could find this in any gingerbread graveyard and be happy to stumble upon it. 2005, the giant man-eating wreath house. It's cool, but I think it's a little bit lazy. It's a very generic gingerbread house behind the large wreath, but what's nice about this one is the wreath tentacles that are stretching all over the ballroom are animated, so they kind of wiggle around just like the man-eating wreath would be searching around looking for something to stick a fork into. 2006 is really fun. It's the Monster Infested house. Now this is just a classic gingerbread house, but from every nook and cranny, window and door explodes from it monster arms, snakes, zombie things, tentacles. It's really fun. There's just a lot of chaos going on here, and it's just a celebration of all kinds of weird, spooky monsters. I think it's really important to mention here that all of these gingerbread houses are, in fact, edible. Central Baking, Disney's Central Baking team, the team that's responsible for doing all of the baking for the entire resort, gets partnered up with Imagineering and the park's kind of decor team to make this amazing, fully edible masterpiece. And year after year, they're using hundreds of pounds of gingerbread and icing to make these things come to life. 2007 is one of my personal favorites. We're playing with the Jack in the Box theme with, in fact, a gingerbread Jack in the gingerbread box. This is amazing. The Jack would bounce up and down, in and out on top of the house. It looked really fun, was a fan favorite. 2008 brought us the giant gingerbread cookie coffin, and this was wild. Playing on a little bit of the coffin themes early in the ride, this actually opens and closes with a tiny little haunted gingerbread corpse inside that would raise up a little bit because apparently he wasn't properly ginger bombed. It's not a bad one. When you don't get embalmed, your body twitches when you're in the casket. It's important to get embalmed, guys. The Scary Go Round came to us in 2009, and who doesn't love a gingerbread carousel? Now, interestingly enough, if you watched our Jack Skellington evolution, you might notice that this has a little bit of an eerie similarity to the first time we saw Jack Skellington in that Beetlejuice carousel helmet that was in that creepy scene. So I like this one. I love the theme park attractions being pulled outside of the mansion into this scene. I think it's cool. 2010's Gingerbread House took us back outside of the attraction, back out to the front gate of the Haunted Mansion Holiday Overlay, including the big iconic calendar that's always running outside of the attraction, and the spooky Jack that's like, you know, hanging outside of the ride. Now, what's cool about this one, though, is it's not necessarily a Jack in the Box in a traditional sense with the spring-loaded head like we saw a few gingerbread houses earlier, but this Jack did pop up and down behind the house, kind of making a fun little animated moment. Now that we're about halfway through these houses, here's something weird that I learned. Now, Jack from Park Ride History told me this, and it's in the video that we did together about the Haunted Mansion Overlay. Go check that out. But apparently, it was Tim Burton's production company and Tim Burton that loved the idea of the overlay and suggested to Imagineering that they should have an original massive gingerbread house that was a little spooky and off-kilter be featured inside of the ballroom every year. Now, it was Disney's whole Imagineering team and creatives that have made all of these magical designs year after year, but I love the fact that Tim Burton's production company kind of had a hand in changing up the design inside of the house year after year. It's so weird, and I'm sure that that's a detail and a factoid that kind of got lost between translations, but, you know, Tim was probably like, I want him to do something new every year. If it's gonna, you know, if people are gonna come back here, I want something new, and that translated into this. Whatever it is, I still think it's a fun fact. Tim Burton has three favorite things. He loves the color black, he loves spooky drawings, and he loves gingerbread. Everybody knows that.
Hi. So, it's a hungry little handful come to pay me a visit.
Well, maybe just a taste.
And you want my body? Come on, Hansel, take a bite.
I'm not eating anymore. You're disgusting.
I said take another bite.
If you're a fan of smells at theme parks, Christmas is one of the best times to be there because it just seems like every section of the parks has a fun, festive version of their favorite scent. And that's what's so great about Magic Candle Company. Head on over there and you can find theme park inspired Christmas scents of all of your main favorite scent squeezes. Everything you love to smell at the parks, now you can smell with a twist! Just like the Haunted Mansion Holiday Overlay, right? What's this? What's this? There's candles everywhere. What's this? What's this? They smell like Christmas time. What's this? I just go to magiccandlecompany.com and use Disney Den 15 for 15% off. What is this? It's savings. I'm not necessarily proud of myself, but it works. In 2011 is where we really turned it up, all right? 500 pounds of gingerbread, over 6 foot tall. This was a giant animatronic gingerbread. The whole thing would open up like a big giant mouth, this big mimic mouth. It just looks like a traditional gingerbread house, but then bam, it snaps open and it'll devour you if you're not paying attention, all right? It's a man-eating gingerbread. What is a mimic like a spooky thing? Is that like a spooky ghoul, like a monster that like
mimics and turns like
it looks like things and then eats you?
Like Annihilation. You ever seen that movie?
Oh
With
yeah. 2012, we took it to the skies, all right? We're like, hey, what's the world record for the most amount of gingerbread steps? Let's break it. That's not exactly true. They didn't do that. 2012 brought us the Jack Skellington house. What is he doing up there? What is he toiling away up there in that tiny little gingerbread laboratory with all the little flickering lights? This is really fun. This long, tall sculpture has over 600 pounds of gingerbread and frosting, and it surrounds a steel and styrofoam kind of like support. This thing was very heavy and very tall. And what I love about it is all the little pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns going up the staircase, they're all carved and they all have a little twinkle light inside of them. It's a really iconic house. I love an advent calendar. So 2013's Gingerbread House, the advent calendar Mausoleum, is amazing. This thing had a footprint of 8 feet wide. That is massive. 8 feet by 13 feet. It had 13 unique advent calendar doors that would open up every week throughout the 13 weeks of the Haunted Mansion holiday, culminating in a giant Santa, Sandy Claus, Jack Skellington cookie at the top of the structure. 2014 gets a little Matilda, right? Like throw them in the what's the thing in Matilda? The
Oven.
not the oven, the Matilda torture device. The Chokey. This is the Matilda Chokey gingerbread house. Matilda torture device. Now that's in my thanks Google for having that be in my search history for the NSA to find. 2014 gives us the gingerbread zombie house, which is essentially a gingerbread torture device, a medieval torture device where sharpened candy canes are plunged into your gingerbread flesh. Looks like it might hurt, but it is certainly delicious. 2015 is a great gingerbread house to pay a little bit of homage to the people who construct it. The Gingerbread House of Cards is a fun gingerbread house littered with hidden Mickeys and, of course, is surrounded by a bunch of little Imagineering zombie gingerbread men with their little hard hats and vests on. That's cute. I love the Imagineers are like, these gingerbread houses don't build themselves, guys. Remember, we're behind the scenes, propping up this gingerbread house of cards that is the Disney theme park resorts. I love the wibbly wobbly design, and here is a great example of noticing that all of these gingerbread houses are not symmetrical. Every single one of the designs is intentionally asymmetrical because that is a theme of Tim Burton's designs. The 2016 patchwork zombie arm is amazing. Do you know that animatronic at the end of the Haunted Mansion? It's like a zombie arm sticking out of a wall, kind of like patching itself in. It's bricking itself up into the you know, this is the same thing. It's just sewing now, you know, playing a little bit of fun with the Sally theme of, you know, Sally sewing herself up. I love the giant gingerbread spool on the table next to the house. That's clever. Very, very clever. The 2017 house, man, not for, if you're afraid, what is it? What are bugs? People afraid of bugs called? Insect. Yikes, Kenny. Entomophobia. If you're afraid of bugs, the 2017 house is not for you, okay? Because Oogie Boogie, I don't know if you're like, if you don't remember or not, but Oogie Boogie is just a sack of sentient bugs. And his jittery bug house in 2017, it's just littered with little wiggly bugs all over. There's little wiggly bugs, wiggly bugs, wiggly bugs, wiggly bugs, wiggly bugs, wiggly bugs. Hey, bugs are important, right? You know, they pollinate and they don't discriminate. 2018 is the first gingerbread house that isn't attached to the table. This is a free-floating gingerbread house hung from a giant gingerbread arachnid. Again, back-to-back years for bug problems. I mean, if you don't like bugs or spiders, these were 2 years you did not enjoy the Haunted Mansion. But it's cool. It's cool to have the whole house snapped off and kind of lifted off and hovering very gently above the table. That's rad. That is very clever, and I love that out-of-the-box thinking. For the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, they pulled out all the stops, making 15 original gingerbread stand-up figures to adorn a gorgeous gingerbread Haunted Mansion house. 30 pounds of gingerbread, 120 pounds of frosting, 75 pounds of powdered sugar, 140 pounds of fondant. They went all out for the 50th anniversary, and all of these figures, including these right here, are beautiful. I love these. I really, really love these a lot. Of course, 2020 would have literally been the 20th anniversary of the gingerbread houses, but Disneyland wasn't open. There was no Haunted Mansion holiday overlay, so there was no gingerbread house that year. But we followed it up with a amazing sculpture for the 2021 house. The 20th gingerbread house, of course, honoring all 20 gingerbread creations. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look back at that map. Let's take a look closely at it, and you can see every single portion of the gingerbread house individually labeled. And if you look at it, you can start, we saw that piece and that piece and that piece. So let me know, which of these gingerbread houses have been your favorite? Which of these influences do you like to see presented in the 20th gingerbread house? What would you have liked to have seen them done instead? I love gingerbread. I don't like to eat it, but I love to make it. And it just seems like whenever time I make a gingerbread house, it looks like a kindergartner made it. I'm in my 30s and I don't know how to solve that. I don't know how to resolve this problem. But the gingerbread houses, the Haunted Mansion, are far above anything I could have created. Let me know in the comments which of these gingerbread houses are the most edible to you. Do you want to lick an Oogie Boogie? Do you want to swallow a jittering gingerbread bug? Let me know in the comments. I want to know which of these favorite gingerbread houses you loved. Also, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all of those great places. Really appreciate you guys watching. Every like, comment, subscribe, bell ringing, all the stuff you do means the world to me, guys, honestly. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, you rock.
I said take another bite.